Sometimes people choose the wrong plants for the local growing conditions, or they plant at the wrong time, or they plant seeds too close together, or in poor soil, or without enough daily sunlight. Master gardeners can help people avoid mistakes. Nancy Garrison started the first Master Gardener program in Santa Clara County, California, almost 30 years ago. She says organic material such as leaf mulch, also called leaf mold, can almost always improve poor soil. Once the soil is improved, she says, then worms can do a lot of your work for you. A vegetable garden in front of a house may not seem unusual in rural areas, but a lawyer who lives in suburban Maryland, outside Washington, grew squash, cucumbers, and tomatoes on his front lawn last year. How did his neighbors react? He says many of them congratulated him on his garden. And that's the VOA Special English Agriculture Report.
Russia's Pavlovsk Experimental Station houses one of the oldest seed and plant collections in the world. But in August, a court agreed to let the Russian Housing Development Foundation take control of the land. The Russian government established the foundation in 2008. The foundation wants to build housing on the land near St. Petersburg that the collection now occupies. Russian officials could still decide to rescue the station. If not, it could be gone within months. The station would not be at all easy to move, even if enough land could be found quickly. Most of the collection grows in the ground. Agricultural specialists say trying to transplant it would take years. The Pavlovsk Experimental Station is part of the N.I. Vavilov Institute of Plant Industry. The institute already existed as a research center when plant scientist Nikolai Vavilov reorganized it in the 1920s. The institute was named in his honor in 1930. The experimental station includes plants that are not found in any other seed bank. It also has Europe's largest field bank for fruits and berries. More than 100 varieties each of raspberries and gooseberries grow on its many hectares. The Global Crop Diversity Trust has been working to save the collection since it first appeared threatened. The trust, a food security group, has been urging people to appeal to Russian officials. An order from President Dmitry Medvedev or Prime Minister Vladimir Putin could stop the housing development. President Medvedev has started an investigation. The collection has been threatened before. During World War II, German troops surrounded St. Petersburg, then called Leningrad. Scientists protected the seeds and plants even as people starved. The Pavlovsk Experimental Station is one of an estimated 1,400 seed and plant preservation centers worldwide. Some have been damaged or destroyed by war, natural disasters, and theft. In 2008, Norway opened a so-called Doomsday Vault designed to be secure from any threat, even an asteroid strike. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is in the side of a mountain. The huge icy space holds extra copies of seeds from other seed banks. In February, it received its 500,000th seed variety to keep safe. And that's the VOA Special English Agriculture Report. You can read and listen to our programs and get podcasts at voaspecialenglish.com.
From VOA Learning English, this is Agriculture. The Go Green Initiative is a program for school children in the American city of Manassas, Virginia. It teaches earth-friendly behaviors, like recycling things, instead of throwing them away. 9-year-old Luis Delgado has learned why recycling is important. He says throwing things away without recycling makes the earth a dirtier place. Luis is one of more than 7,000 elementary school students taking part in the Go Green Initiative. The program receives support from the city government. Sandy Thompson is the program's coordinator. She says the Manassas schools recycle almost everything, from telephones to plastic bags. The schools use single-stream recycling when possible. This means collecting paper, plastic, and glass in one container instead of separating them. Mike Moon is the city's director of Public Works and Utilities. He says the goal is to raise awareness about recycling to keep Manassas clean. But he adds that Go Green is not just about recycling. He says it is also about energy and water conservation. Boys and girls also learn about gardening and composting. Composting turns uneaten food and kitchen waste into rich organic matter. Mike Moon says children often have never experienced those methods commonly used in agriculture. Sandy Thompson says the lessons the children learn go beyond the classroom. She says they start their own gardens at home and recycle more. 10-year-old Maria Seberg planted a garden behind her home. She says she enjoys gardening and recycling because it helps the environment. Mike Moon says good recycling behavior, taught at a young age, will last a lifetime. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carolyn Presutti.
Agriculture Report. Recycling programs usually give new life to materials like paper, metal, plastic, and glass. But a program in the eastern United States is recycling shellfish to help the Chesapeake Bay. Oysters are filter feeders, which means they help clean the water. At the same time, generation upon generation of oysters form reefs. These structures provide homes for fish and crabs. Oysters are a Chesapeake tradition, and they are good for the bay. But environmental damage and too much harvesting have cut the oyster population of the Chesapeake. An organization called the Oyster Recovery Partnership started the recycling program earlier this year. Baby oysters need to attach themselves to a shell or other hard surface as they grow. Scientists are using recycled shells as part of an oyster reproduction program. More than 50 restaurants, seafood dealers, and other businesses have joined the Oyster Shell Recycling Alliance. 2 states, Maryland and Virginia, are also taking part in the program. One of the restaurants involved is in Washington, near the White House. Oysters are a specialty at the Old Ebbitt Grill, and manager Christian Guide says that means lots of shells. He says, "We serve between 1,500 and 3,000 oysters a day, and that obviously does create a lot of waste. But the restaurant no longer throws away all those shells. The Oyster Recovery Partnership takes them away for recycling. First, the shell